Hi, good morning. So we have got Lakshmi, Pavitra, Sridhar, Sudhakar, and Sundar. Okay, I guess Radhika is missing. I think she'll be joining slightly late. So let's start the session. By the way, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Hello, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, Venkat. Yes, sir. It's screening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your screen is seen.
What about others?
Yes, I'm able to hear you, sir.
Sridhar, Sudhakar, Sunil.
Yeah, we are able to see.
Right. All right, so let's go. Okay, so I've got the access for the system now. So this is what we have discussed in the previous class. We have discussed about various organizational elements. We have now we are going to create them onto the system. So here, ideally, once we have all these workshops and then finalize what org unit needs to be maintained as company code, what org unit needs to be maintained as plant or purchasing organization. So once you are finalized the things, you will be using that information, the finalized information given by your customers and the process owners of the customer. You will be mapping them onto the system. So to start with, like I said, any configuration, whether it is MM configuration or SD configuration or FICO configuration, it should start with SPRO, what we call it as, within which you will have something called IMG, implementation guide. So transaction code for that is SPRO. Either you can go with SPRO and then click on SAP reference IMG. Ideally, in real-time projects, if you are working for a specific project, here you will have the project ID which will be created by your project manager or the basis team member. Right? So when you have been given a project number or a project ID, you will be selecting the project ID like this and then going with SAP reference IMG. Okay, because here we don't have any project IDs, you can simply go SAP reference IMG like this. Okay, either you can use this SAP SPRO transaction, or from tools the same thing can be reached. You see here under tools there is something called ABAP workbench where all the ABAP related transaction codes will be available, and then one below that node you have something called customization where you can see your IMG screen, SPRO. Okay, so here you go with SPRO, you will see the same SAP reference IMG, you click it here. So now our intention is to create an enterprise structure, an organization structure. You see this SPRO screen is highly organized in the sense, by simply looking at the descriptions, you can easily say whether you will be doing a certain implementation or a certain configuration activity in whichever module. Now my intention is to create an enterprise structure or organization structure which will be required by all the modules. So therefore it is individual. It is maintained as an individual. So now you go into enterprise structure here. You see here, this is what we call as enterprise structure. So once you are here, you have something called definition and assignment section. What do you mean by definition? For example, if you want to use something that needs to be available first, okay, let me put it this way. Simple terminology, a simple example. If you want to, for example, if you want to drive a car, the car needs to be there first, in the sense all those individual pieces, okay, all those individual spare parts or components of the car needs to be designed first, then you assemble them in a way which can be used, only then you will have the car which is ready for driving purpose. Similarly, if you want to use an enterprise structure or organization structure, all those components that we have discussed, okay, in the previous class. Let me open the enterprise structure also. Study material. Material management. Customer handling. Structure. Business system. I have started before. Okay, so all those individual components that we have discussed in the previous class, like client, company code, purchase organization plan, etc., etc. So all these individual elements, I'm talking about these individual elements, they needs to be designed or defined first. Only then you can create or you can make an establish a relationship. So therefore, in the definition section, you will have further notes, something like you see here financial accounting. Under financial accounting, you would see various elements like company, credit control area, company code, business area, functional area, so on and so forth. Similarly, in controlling a module, you will have couple more organizational elements like cost center, control area, operating concern, and then when you go into logistics general, you see this is highly organized. This is what I was referring to. Like I told you in the previous class, your enterprise structure is made up of 3 or 4 modules. What are they? Financial, material management, sales and distribution, and then what we call it as logistics execution or WM, warehouse management module. Apart from this, plant maintenance, again here you don't have the new organizational elements available in plant maintenance, because it's only the plant and storage location which is being used. Whereas in case of HR, human resource management, you have something called personal area. Okay, personal area, sub-personal area, and then employee groups. Of course, we don't deal with HR module here in this course, so therefore I am omitting this one. We don't use any plant maintenance, so I'm leaving this one. We don't deal with logistics execution, so therefore I will not be touching even the warehouse management organizational entities as well, but rather I will be dealing with material management, sales and distribution, logistics general, where your plan will be defined, and the financial and controlling module organizational elements. Okay, so now look at here, and the definition section, if you go into financial accounting, you would see certain organizational elements which are nothing but the top half of the organization structure that I am showing to you. You see client, credit control area, business area, company code, so on and so forth. All these things are part of your FICO module organization structure elements. So let's go with define company. You see here, a company in SAP terminology is brand in the physical sense. Okay, so now what we have decided, we thought of setting up Nissan, right? So this Nissan group is called as company in SAP terminology. So I will be, now wherever you see this timer icon, this is called execute. So when you go with this, now you see here there are about how many? 259 entries available in the table. But in real time you will not have these many entries. When a fresh licensed server is given to you, you will have only one entry, that is called SAP pre-configured company, which is called as 0001. So except the one that is highlighted, no other entry will be available in your licensed server. These are all these. This is an IDES system, stands for International Demo Education System. Because this is maintained for for the educational purposes, you have got so many entries. but in real time only one entry will be there, that is 0001 or simply 1, right? So now next thing, SAP has got certain best practices or recommendations for its customers and implementation partners. The first and foremost recommendation is, wherever possible, you copy the standard SAP company code and create your own. Okay, let me repeat it once again. Wherever possible, you copy SAP pre-configured company entry and adopt it to your own requirement. How? Look at here. I said this is the only one which will be available in your live system, in your real-time environment. So look at this. You copy this particular 0001 or simply 1. Here in the application specific toolbar, you have various options. First one, change display icon. Second one, details. Third one, new entries. Fourth one, copy control or copy as. Deletion, undo, select all the entries, select a single block of entry, and unselect or deselect all the entries. So now what am I saying? As per SAP's best practices recommendation, you copy the standard company code, that is 0001. So it means you select this one and go with copy as. Now you see here, specify the target entry. It means this is getting copied. What is your target entry? Now you tell me which. Okay, are you okay with these notations that I have specified in the previous class? Can we go with this 333, or do you want to have a different ID? Pavitra and Lakshmi and everybody, are you guys okay with 333? I assume there is no 333 available. I mean the 333 numbers which we are trying to use have not been used by anybody in the system. Only then I can use that 333. Or if you want me to choose just simply Nissan, that I can choose that one also. Which one do you feel comfortable with you? Ideally, numericals will be used, but there is no hard and fast rule like you have to use numerics only. You can use alphanumerics or simply alphabets also. Can I go with 333, or you want me to change it?
333 is okay, sir.
Alright, okay. So here I'll be choosing 333. So the company name, I would say Nissan Group. Okay. Here you have to do the details, address details. Okay. Okay, so you give some address, street number, okay, 12, PO box, something like 567. Postal code in India is a 6-character length. So you give the proper postal code. City, I assume. Where is this head office located? In Mumbai or in Chennai? Pavitra? Okay, Chennai. Country, okay, I would say India. IN stands for India. Or if you have any doubts, you see here this small icon against each of the field. This is called search help. You click on this so that it will give you list of eligible or available values for that particular field. Okay, so in this case, what is this? I am going for looking for country. So IN, India, something like this, and then language key, English. Once again, just see here, just select like this, and then currency. Which currency would you like to have? Because this is an Indian company, so let's go and have INR. So look for INR, or you go with Control F, that is fine. If you type INR, if it is available in the list, you will see that. Okay, now you hit INR, say hit enter. Okay, an entry is already existing with the same key 333, so I cannot use this. Okay, so which one do you want me to choose? Let me check it. Or can I go with 777? Something like this. Yeah, this 77 is there. Or okay, let it be 777. So now you see 777 Nissan Group. You save it. Okay, I think in the previous class somebody questioned about transport request. Now you see here is a transport request because you have created one entry in the configurations. Okay, now you are trying to save it, therefore it is asking you, do you want me to save these changes? If yes, what is the transport request number? Okay, because you are doing it for the first time, you see here there is a small icon called create request. I request you go with it. Go with create request. Here I would say Nissan changes. Okay, I'm giving a new short description as Nissan changes. Then I will go with save. Now you see what is the transport request. The default one EC7K900042. Now if I go with Nissan changes and say OK, this number will not be there, but there will be a new number will come in place of that. Now you see this is the number, transport request number, under which I am going to save all my changes from this moment till I complete the course. Okay, so this is like your transport request number. This is like a big or a huge a suitcase, you call it as a box or something like that, where you keep all your belongings when you are moving from one place to another place. Similarly here, this is the transport request. It's like a box which contains all the changes of yours from now onwards, right? So I'll go with OK. Now you see initially there were 259 entries, now a new entry got added with 777, so therefore it became 260. Now you may have a question like, I have just created one entry, where can I go and see this change, where exactly it got saved, right? To see that, let me give you another transaction. This time transaction code SE10. I will go with create new session. Let me click it over here. Now there is a transaction code called SE10. Okay, once you go with this, you would see, so this is the user ID that I have created. I have requested to create it. So this is the user ID which I will be using it for the next 2 months. Okay, now I want my interest is to see what are my transport requests and which changes have been saved. You have to understand transport requests are of two types. One is called customizing change. Second one is called workbench request. If you could recollect your thoughts, during demo I would have explained you customization versus configuration. So at that point of time I said customization can be done by two means, one by configuration, two by total coding. Okay, now look at here, request types. Customizing request in the sense it's a configurational change, whereas workbench request means ABAP changes. So now Lakshmi, with user ID Lakshmi, I have just created one configuration change. I wanted to see that. Okay, then request will have two kinds of statuses, modifiable and released. Right now I did not release any transport, so my request status is modifiable. In case if I wanted to change Nissan Group as Nissan Group of companies, I can go and change it. Why? Because I am yet to release my change, right? So therefore, you see, I wanted to find out all the transports created by user Lakshmi, right? including development requests. You click on display after selecting those two, right? You see here, this is your transport request EC7K 900138. Okay, I'm sorry, this is workbench request, right? Now look at here. I'll just go back. If you remove this one and then go with display, you would see Nissan changes. Who has created new request? Did somebody created? Okay, so leave this. I did not create it, but it seems the person who has given us this user ID, it seems he has created something. Okay, I don't bother about this. I'll just go with, I've just created one request with the name this one, Nissan changes. Now you see this is my request. Okay, so what I can do is go with this. Now you see here there is something called customizing request. What do you mean by customizing request? She would have created a change. What change? Customizing change. What is customizing change? Define company. Did you remember? We went with define company, isn't it? From here, define company. This is an IMG activity. You see display IMG. What is the activity? Define company. Yes, in the previous class I have shown you how to look at transaction codes here. Once again, look at here, additional information, display key, IMG activity. If you go with it, you will see the IMG activity as well. Okay, so this is your IMG activity. OX15 is the define company code. So under IMG activity, what have you performed? You maintained a view. Means what? The data that you have created, view maintenance. All the views will be identified with the starting character as V, and then T880 is actually the table name, right? So if you look at here, there is a meaning here. If you look at here, you see here, once again I'm going to define company. When you go with position, you click on position. What's your company code? 777. Now you see this 777 with the group, Nissan group, this has been saved in this table T880. When it is saved, look at here how it got saved, right? The first three characters are from the client. Okay, next 6 characters are given it for the company, that is what we call as client in SAP terminology. Okay, so now if you go into this table T880 or V underscore T880, this is view maintenance, you should be able to see this one. So you can say now my entry, or rather all these entries are available in table T880. Okay, so I'll just go back. Nissan changes. Now the second one is credit control area. So look at here, credit control area. How to create it? One. Simply look at here, client, and then I'm going to define credit control area. Then I will be defining something called company code, business area, so on and so forth. So now display IMG. Now you go with define credit control area. I'll just go with execute this icon. This time again there are about 50 entries here. So I will be going with 0001, the standard entry. One more thing, while you are making changes in the configurations, never ever make any changes to the standard entry. You see here somebody has changed in the description. Ideally you are not supposed to make any change for the existing entry. What you are supposed to do is you copy the standard one and create as another new customer related one, and then make modifications according to your wish on the copied one. So 0001, go with copy as once again. So here I will be giving my credit control area as once again 777. My currency is INR. Just hit enter. So here I would say credit control area for Nissan. Okay, assume I have just created one. Okay, now this is also one more customizing request. So therefore if you look at your once again transport organizer, if you refresh this, how to refresh it, just now you see Nissan, under Nissan changes you would see two changes. One is define company, second one is define credit control area. Okay, so like that whatever changes that you do, they keep on adding in the transport request. So now I have defined my credit control area. What next? Define company code. What is company code? This is your company code. So company code is most important one. People will ask you in the interview, what data do you maintain while defining company code? There are about 6-7 points to answer this question. Okay, so in the next say 5 minutes, once we while we are creating company code, we will answer those questions, right? So let's go with edit, copy, delete, check company code. I'll go with this one. Look at here, you have got two options. First one is copy, delete, check company code. Second one is edit company code. So what I will be doing, I will be going with copy, delete, check company code. I'll just go with it. Now, once again, you look at here in the application specific toolbar, I have an option called copy organizational object. I'll go and click it here. It will take some time because company code creation will update lot of tables. So therefore it has to identify what are the tables that it is required while creating company code, and also read the entry 0001, place a new entry which we are going to create. So for the entire thing it's going to take a couple of minutes. By the way, any questions so far?
Right. I've got a question for you. What my understanding is, whatever you defined or define in the configuration, like what we're doing, we need to do manually in each system rather than transport. That's correct. I do see that we are creating transports, but from my understanding, we need to manually do it in each system.
No, not required, sir. You need not have to do manually. That's the reason we are saving those changes in the transport request.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you. Just give me a moment. Let me complete this one. So now here also from company code 0001. Okay. What is the company code I wanted? 777. Right. Now you go and click continue. Now answer for the question Okay, so let me write it over here. Where is my Excel file? So the question is, what data do you maintain for company code setup? Okay, there are multiple answers for this. First and foremost, GL accounts. Okay, because all the accounting takes place at company code level. Where are the accounts getting created? Now you see here, only copy the GL accounts if you want to allocate the same chart of accounts to the target company codes as to the source company code. Do you want to copy GL accounting data of the company code? Now what is that you are trying to do? You are trying to create company code 0001 and making yourself as 7777. So it is asking you, do you want to copy GL accounts? In real time you will say no, because all the GL accounts would have been there in your legacy system, old system. Therefore you will go with no. But here in the practice I will have to say yes, because I am not an FICO consultant. My job is not to create some 10, 20, 30 GL accounts in this class. So instead I will be using all the GL accounts which are available in 0001 company code, and I will extend them onto my company code 777. So therefore I will go with, do you want to copy GL account company code data? For that I would say yes. But in real time answer is no. Next, currency. Okay, so what currency do you maintain for the company? Now it says 0001 company code, which is a European company code for which euro is assigned. What currency would you like to have for your company code 777? Because that's being an Indian company, I wanted INR to be maintained as a currency for this company. So now it is asking, do you want to allocate a different local currency? I would say yes. What is the local currency? INR, Indian rupee. So I'll go and hit enter. Now it says certain data was not copied. Makes sense, because the legal rules between India and the Europe may not be same in all the cases and aspects. So therefore it says certain data was not copied. Okay, that's not a problem. Let it not get copied. Right? There is also, it says there is some inconsistency in ledger 8A profit and accounting. That is also okay. Okay. Now you see here it says the number range intervals and the addresses linked to the automatic recurring customizing change. It says the number range and address is not getting copied. Are you okay with it? I would say okay. Do you really want to transport number ranges? No, I don't want. I wanted to create my own number ranges. Okay, so now what it is doing is it is trying to identify all the entries of 0001 company code in the respective company code tables, and then it will add a new entry for your company code 7777. Just give me one moment, it's going to take some time. So in the meanwhile I'll just come and wash my face. I'm getting drowsy. So just give me 30 seconds.
while this one is going on, see, the main thing is here we see the as far as the SAP is concerned, client is nothing but when you are logging in, you are specifying the client. What is exactly the difference between that client and where here I'm saying company as a client?
Okay, are you asking me, Sudhakar? Or are you telling to, asking somebody? Hello?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Srinivas.
Okay. Right. The client that you see here on the SAP system, you see here EC7 in bracket 1800, this is called technical client. Okay, look at here. While you are saving your data into the respective database tables, just now I've shown you here, it's getting stored into the tables. You see here 800 of 777. This client is called technical client. Okay, I think it's completed its activity, so let me save this one. Okay, enter numeric values only. There is a problem. I will resolve that problem. Let me answer your question first. So here, you see here 800 7777. What is this? The 7777 is the credit control area. But what is this 800? This is called technical client. It is the client ID into which you log into. If you could recollect the last class or the last to last class discussion, you see here golden client 120 in the landscape, development client 150, etc. Client have given. This client is nothing but the client with which the data will get stored. Are you getting my point? It is only meant for the security purpose. The data that you maintain in client 800. What is client 800?
Srinivas, I understand that. Because why I'm asking the question is because the client and the company, this is the terminology as well as wording what we are using.
Yeah.
Because client over here we are using basically to separate, because this is a 800 technical client which is having all the tables are going to save for the particular organization.
Customer, yes.
Yeah. So again, inside our customization, we are creating the company because that is the top level organizational structure, in which we are going to have a company code plus controlling area, etc., plants and storage locations and all that.
Right.
Because when we are referring the company as a client, so that's why just why, because this is the first I'm seeing this one as a client. That's why just why they call it the client rather than company.
You are 100% correct, Sridhar, but that's how the SAP has designed its architecture or the structure. See, the client normally when we call to which client are you working for, that's actually nothing but a customer. We don't refer the technical client. Okay, so the company as such is a brand. So there is a small a confusion across the audience, because sometimes we call it as company, sometimes we call it as client, sometimes we call it as customer. So one and all are same from the business perspective, whereas technical side client is different. That is the ID with which all your data will get saved, but the client in generic sense is nothing but the company, or I would say group company. So SAP has designed its software in that way. So that is what we call as SAP BY-D. BY-D stands for by design. So how they have, why they have designed it that way, I don't have proper answer. But client.
No. I understand, Srinivas. That's fine. The only one thing is that wording, basically, whether actually it's called as a client or company. That's what my point is.
Company.
Right, okay.
In SAP terminology, it is company. But in the normal generic talk between you and me, you could say client.
Okay, okay, I understand.
Sudhakar, you want to say something or you want to add?
Sorry, I would like to add something here, whether it is right or wrong. Let's correct it. Correct me.
Not a problem.
As far as my understanding, Sridhar, the client is okay. Let's put it this way: the company. You know the company is created, but you don't know the company is created in which application server under which client. So here, I believe what I understand is company is stored in a client of a particular application server from which you need to move the transports to another client of another environment or another server within that server. Is that right, Venkat?
Partially, yes. You can say this way. A company is created in a client which is technical. And from that client, you can actually transport this company changes to other client. Okay? So that's...
Is that okay, Sridhar? Is that what you're trying to...
No, Sudhakar, I understand that, but what I'm asking actually, the terminology what is being used here, that's why, because just the technical client and the regular client again it's going to confuse the terminology. That's why just typically the client is a 3-digit numeric field typically used, and the company is 7-digit alphanumeric. So just the client, whatever the created here, company and all the things, this can be transported across the different in the landscape, the scientist knows. But only one thing is that just to make sure that client and company is interchangeable as far as the wording is concerned. That's what I was asking.
Correct. It is interchangeable. But
go ahead, Srinivas.
But not with the technical client. Client and company, yes, interchangeable from the generic perspective. Yes, they are interchangeable.
Okay, no problem.
Alright, now here when I try to copy 0001 entry into 777, it got terminated by saying enter numeric value only. Although I did enter numeric value, which is 7777, it has got some problem, so therefore it has not been completed successfully. There is some problem with IDES system. The problem is, I'll tell you, there is a table. SE16 is the transaction code to display the table data. There is some table called TNIW5. Okay, there is a table TNIW5. Let me just go and display the labels instead of field names. Okay, so BUKRS MTAT REICHWIT, these things, because I did it so many times I might understand it, but you guys will have some trouble in remembering the names. So therefore what I'm trying to do is I'll display the label instead of technical name so that you will understand it. Now you see it's company code material type coverage. For material type ROH, okay, ideally this coverage, okay, this particular field should have a 3-character keys, right? But for 0001 company code, you see here there is something called double-digit coverage. This is creating problem, right? This is actually a bug in the IDES system. There was a node which needs to be implemented, or you have to delete this entry and then recreate your company code so that it will work. Okay, so why it has happened that way is, prior to ECC 6.0 you have got ECC 4.7. I think this issue is there since ECC 4.7. Prior to ECC 4.7 you have got ECC version 4.6 A, B and C. During those versions, earlier versions, as per design of the SAP system, this coverage is a 2-character key. But once the ECC version has been changed from 4.6 to 4.7, that is from 4.7 the ECC central component version has comes into picture. From that moment onwards, this particular field has been made as 3-digit key, because when you upgrade the software, this 2-digit key from earlier version has come. So this has not been rectified in the IDES version. But in live system you don't see this issue, but because this being an IDES system, you have this problem. So what you have to do is you have to delete this entry with a 2-character key. So what I can do is, now you see here, select this entry, go to table data, delete. Okay, so now I am going to delete this entry, but in real time you will not have this problem. Only in test system you have this problem. So therefore I am deleting this one. After deletion, now you see there is no 0001 with 12. Now what you can do is once again go with copy. This time if you want to go with 0001, you can go with 0001, or you can use 1000 and use 777. Once again, you copy all the GL accounts from your reference company, which is 0001, and then I wanted to have the local currency. I don't want EUR, so I will go for local currency as yes. What is my local currency? My local currency is INR. Okay. So now just keep clicking enter, because this is number range which is not getting copied while you are copying company code 0001 onto your own. Okay, it says, do you really want to copy number range? I don't require. I'll just say no. Now you see all the tables are getting copied. Okay, so once again I am changing this thing, and then this one changes. Let me see if it gets saved or not. If it is not saved, once again I have to go to the table TNIW5 and find out if there are any other double-digit or 2-character entries. Okay, so now here I could go with 0001, company code, company code is 77. I'll just say copy. So it will take a couple more minutes. Now you see here, company code 1000 copied to 777 without 733 number range objects. That's okay. You just go and say okay. Now you see here, go to completed activities. So here your 77 is created. Okay, so now you go to the second option, that is edit company code data. Because your 777 is created right now, you can go and make modifications according to your customer requirements. So 777 is created. Now you see here 777 is created, but the company name is specified as IDESAG. Why? Because you have copied from 0001, the company code name of 0001 is IDESAG. That's the reason the name has adopted. Now you do not want the adopted one. What you want is, you want it to change, right? So now you select 777, go with details. Here you can change the name as Nissan. What is this company? What is the name we thought we should use this? Nissan India Private Limited. Okay, so let me rename this as Nissan India, let's say PVT Limited. City, I would just go use Chennai. Country India. Currency INR. Language English. Say hit enter. Okay, so now to answer the question which we have copied here, GL accounts, currency, I would say name and description. Okay, I would say name, description and address. Okay, apart from this there is something called chart of accounts, which we will see it. Okay, hit enter, and then now you see after entering company name, I mean to say company code name and country additional data, you can click on this postcard icon where you will maintain address details. Right? So this particular information is actually copied from 0001 company code, but this is not the one that I am going to use it. Okay, so therefore I will be changing this one, company Nissan India Private Limited. Okay, street number whatever 1, 2, 3, Chennai. Okay, right, so search name is Nissan. I'll just give it a search name as Nissan. So once again, street, you maintain street as something like this, house number 231, postal code 5-character key, so you specify this, and then city as Chennai, country India. Okay, region, you can remove region, or else if you want to specify region, you could do so. It's Tamil Nadu, right? So where is TN? Tamil Nadu 22. Time zone. Okay, in India it is what we call it as GMT plus 530. You would have an option for India. You see India, GMT plus 530. Okay, this is nothing but GMT plus 530. PO box number, postal code, you maintain this here as well, and then language, which is English. Use English as the language. In case if you want to maintain fax, email, address, etc. details also, you can do so here. And then finally you go with copy or say OK, and then you save it. Okay, once data is saved, you have copied your company code. Right? In case if you want to see the transport organizer, now you see you have got only 2 customizing requests, isn't it? Under this Nissan changes, you have got define company and credit control area. You have just completed company code, so therefore if you just go and refresh it, you will see 3. Now if you just go into it, under customizing, you would see 3 things.
Srinivas, I have one question in this one.
Yes, Leader.
We have modified all the details for the language English.
Correct.
So for example, if it is a multilingual, the data need to be changed, login as each different language and change it, or is there any method we can change the language for other languages?
Okay, let me answer the question this way. Now we are creating company code. We are not creating any material. Okay, for example, if this is a Chinese company code, if you want to specify the name and address of the company code in Chinese language, you have to log in as Chinese language and maintain that. Or, okay, that's one way. Other way is, let's say you have got a Chinese company, you have got an Indian company, you have got a UK and US company, and assume you have got a Japanese company as well. Now there is one material number is same, but you wanted all these company codes to use it. In such cases, what you do is, you create only one material number, but rather you maintain description in multilingual format. That is the next part, and when you create a material master or any other master data, where SAP supports multilingual.
Yeah, that's even for example, whatever the details we have specified over here, if they want to see in different language, then we are maintaining the system as multilingual. So obviously we need to log in as different language and maintain the language details.
Correct.
That's the one.
No, not required. I'll just show you. Okay, so this is English, right? Let me see if I could able to log in with the Japanese language or Chinese language. This is the system. Lakshmi is the user ID. Okay, since it's been removed, sir, here. Had it been there, I would have seen the search help screen indicated here. That's not there. If I go with JP, Japanese, password is something like this. See here, JP is not there. Or even see, it's been removed. I guess it's been removed in this system, but yes, it will allow you.
Why didn't you put DE, German, for example?
Okay, let me just check it. That one also. Right. Okay. EC01 is the transaction code to see or to create. Now you see here organization object BUCHUM something company code this is. Okay. Or I'll just go with it like this SPRO SAP reference IMG. Okay. Come on, where is the enterprise structure? Is this the one?
That's the one, yeah.
I think so. Definition, finance. Okay, so this is your company code. Okay, I'll just go with edit company code. Right? Now you see here your company code is 777. Because it is not being maintained in Deutsch language, you will still see the characters in English. So if you want to maintain, you can come here and then you change.
But just I was thinking, is there any other way to do that one? So that means actually
No, as far as I am aware of it, for the organizational elements, no. But for material master, yes, it is possible.
Yeah, got it.
Any master data, possible. Any transactional data is possible. But the organizational elements, I don't think it is possible. Okay.
Any configuration is not possible. But,
Yeah, you can say that, yes. Okay, so we have created the company code also. Now the next one is define business areas. So let me just quickly go and define a couple of business areas. Okay, I'll just take 0001 and 0002. I'll copy both. Just say copy as. Okay, so this is something like 771 small car section, 772 SUVs. Okay, just like that, I've created two business areas. Okay, just go back once again, and then functional area. Functional area is not required, but still, because you are going in a flow, you can just go. Okay, this view is obsolete. Use transaction FM underscore function, so you need not have to create it. Substrate nowhere it is used. Then there is something called maintain consolidated business area. Like what we discussed about business area, it's a organizational. It's an internal organizational entity within the company code for which you can have a profit or loss statement. So, for example, if you want to see the consolidated profit or loss of both business areas together, you have to have one consolidated business area. So that is what we will be maintaining it over here. So once again, choose some 0001 or 1000 because you will have only one entry in real-time live system. So here I will make this as also 777, and then mechanical engineering, some description as, or you simply put it as consolidated. What is your company? Nissan consolidated BA. Okay, so let me put it as this way, save it, enter, go back. Now financial management area, this you can define it. I'll just say define FM area, choose 0001, go with copy as 7777, FM area as 77, currency as IN. I don't require this financial management area to work with my MM module, but just because I wanted to maintain a complete organization structure, so that's the reason I am maintaining, but otherwise I don't require this. And again, this segment is once again not required for me, but in case if you want it, you can simply go like this and then create it. Otherwise you can ignore it. Profit center also, we don't work with what we call controlling module PCA, profit center accounting, so I don't require this at this moment. Right now you see I have defined company, that is nothing but the group company, credit control area, company code, business area, consolidated business area, and financial management area. Let me go and define couple more things. Okay, what is that? Maintain control area. This is CO module. So here I'll just go with maintain control area. You have to remember that copying option for controlling area is not possible. Even if you double click with it, when you go with copy organizational object, it will give you a message saying that copying is possible only in structure mode or something like that. You can only copy or replace an object controlling area in structure mode. So therefore copying is not possible. What is possible is maintain control area. You have to maintain this manually. Okay. So here you go with new entries. So control area also I will be dealing with 777. Control area Nissan Group. Okay, enter. Now while defining control area, you have an option. Are you going to use one control area for all the company codes defined in the Nissan Group, or are you going to define each control area for each of the company code? Okay. This is the one I am referring to. Control area, you see here control area to company code, it is one to many. It means what? One control area can feed the requirements to many company codes. If you want to define it, you can define it one to many, or if you want to go with one to one also, you can go. Okay, so here there will be two options. One is company code controlling area same as company code. It means one control area per company code. Other one is cross company code cost accounting. It means you will be using one control area for more than one company code. Normally in industries, we go with cross-company code cost accounting, which means one control area for all the company codes in that group. Right? So for example, even for my current customer which I am working, we have got around 900 company codes across the globe, but we use only one control area. Okay, next, there is something called currency settings. What currency is it going to be used for this control area? I wanted to use same currency as that of the company code currency, so I'll just go and specify it. And then what is the currency that you would like to use? Currency is INR. Then what is the chart of accounts which you wanted to use? Okay, now if you could look at here in the slide also, your company and company code, I mean to say group company and company code are connected via chart of accounts and control area. Right? Look at here. Once again, let me tell you. Your company and company code, that is group company and company code, are connected via chart of accounts and control area. So therefore, even if you look at this combination, control area and company code can also be linked via chart of accounts. So therefore, while defining control area, you have to specify which chart of accounts are you going to use. Chart of accounts, I will use the standard one which is being created for my IDES company code, which is INT. Okay, so therefore I wanted to use this one. And then there is something called fiscal year variant. Means, what do you mean by fiscal year? How many fiscal periods will be there in the fiscal year? Ideally, we go for K4. Means, per calendar year, 4 special periods. Okay, this is all FICO related stuff. So you just go and maintain these things. And then you will go with save. Okay, Nissan changes, it's getting saved. Okay, there is one more thing which you have to define. So with this, the controlling area definition is complete. Okay, only for the purpose of here, but this is not the end of control area. There is one more screen where you will have to maintain certain parameters that we will come back to that. Okay, so I'll just go back here once again. Save changes, yes. Now cost centers I don't create right now, but I will create them once we move a little further. There is something called operating concern. Either you can create your own operating concern or you can use the existing one. Operating concern is meant for profit center accounting. Okay, so either you can go and create an operating concern or you can use the existing ones available. Let me see. There's a separate transaction code for operating concern. I think I have forgotten. Give me a moment. Let me find /n. Okay. F3. There's a table TSTCT where you can find out the transaction codes. I did not remember the transaction code. Okay, so create, or I will say operating concern. Let me find it out. Yeah, I remember the transaction code. Now the transaction code is KEA1. Okay, so let me just go and instead of creating from here, okay, so instead of creating from here operating concern, okay, you have an option to go and create an operating concern from some other transaction code KEA1. Is it KE1 or KE0? I think it is 0. Let me check it. These are all FICO related transaction codes which you, if you remember it, good. Even if you don't remember also, it's no harm. You see here, maintain operating concern. Okay, so how to maintain an operating concern? You can create it like this. I would say 7777, and then there should be one more transaction which is KEA1. KEA, is it KEA1? Oh no, KEA1 is not there. Okay, so it's KEA0. You see here, 777 does not exist. Do you want it to be created? I would say yes. Okay. Sample operating concern means you can refer the existing one and create a new operating concern. I will just go and use IDEA. Okay, there is some standard sample operating concern. Okay, you can just refer and choose IDEA. Okay, so description, I would like to give operating concern Nissan Group. Okay, so why do you require operating concern? Like I said, profitability analysis. Okay, so I choose cost based and account based. Once I go with this, right, and then I'll just go and maintain. You see here there is something called create data structure. Okay, I'll just go and, right, so it's asking me to create first, so I'll just go and save this. Okay, so now it got saved. You could see status is in red, which is not in active state. So you cannot use the one which is not active state. You have to make this as active. If you want to make the operating concern active, you have to make the data structure active first here. Okay, so now you see I'll go with change mode. Now I go with details. One sec. Change. So I will go with create now. So here you have to choose certain data fields, right? You choose data fields, make it activate the structure, and then activate the entire what you call the operating concern. So here you see here these are the fields available for you to create a structure. So out of this I would choose couple of them like cost center, purchasing organizational unit, okay, something like a material group. Do you see material group? Yeah, material group. Okay, things like that. Maybe sales office, sales group. Like this I will be choosing some of them. Okay, and then you transfer these fields from the selected list, keep it here, right, and then you see here there is an activation icon. You click on this activation icon, define at least one value field. Yeah, you come back to this value field. So here also use some of the fields which you wanted to choose. On what fields or on what basis would you like to do this profitability analysis? Okay, you choose some of them: quantity variance, price variance, any other field. Again, this is not your job, this is FICO consultant's job, which he will be doing it. Even if I don't have the operating concern also, I can comfortably work with MM module, but not with even FI module also, but not the controlling module. So because we are just going with the entire thing, so I'm just using, I'm trying to create everything together on my own, but otherwise these things are not required at all. Administration, sales quantity, something like this. You select sales office also. Some of the fields is selected. Seeing material group or anything like that. Raw materials. Okay. So you move them and then you activate it. Save and activate it. Okay, so therefore the structure becomes activated. It'll take a while. Okay, now you could see all the objects are activated. You save this. Back. Okay, it's still not active. Why is it still not active? Let me just go and have a look at it. This has to get activated. Okay, so this will get activated now. Once it gets activated, let's see if it gets activated or do we have to perform anything else. I assume it should get activated. Okay, it might require a couple more minutes. Any questions so far? I think it's taking little more time. So once it gets saved, you will have a green bulb here and you will have a green bulb here at operating concern level as well. Only then you can use that operating concern. Please remember, any object which is not activated fully cannot be used.
Srinivas, this operating concern is required for defining any other organizational elements below the company code?
No, like I said, this is only meant for profitability analysis in the controlling module. There is something called COPA, controlling profitability analysis. CO module లో వస్తుందండి. FICO లో CO అనేది ఉంది. It's a highly specialized area within FI accounting, FICO module. దానికోసం మీకు ఈ ప్రాఫిటబిలిటీ అనాలిసిస్ చేయటం కోసం ఆపరేటింగ్ కన్సర్న్ కావాలి, కానీ ఇట్స్ నో వే రిలవెంట్ ఫర్ లాజిస్టిక్ మాడ్యూల్స్. లైక్ ఐ సెడ్, మనం ఒక ఫ్లోలో వెళ్తున్నాము, సో లెట్ మీ డిఫైన్ ఆల్ ది ఆర్గనైజేషనల్ యూనిట్స్ అని డిఫైన్ చేస్తున్నాను తప్పించి యూ డోంట్ రిక్వైర్ దిస్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఫర్ MM మాడ్యూల్. Even without assigning operating concern or without touching operating concern, I can still very well go ahead with my all MM activities.
But this particular product or material which is going to be used for their product costing or profitability analysis, this may be in turn is going to be referenced in this particular operating concern. Is there any hookup between operating concerns to any product?
Product level of product, no, there will not be any direct linkage from the material versus operating concern, but the accounts which gets updated into controlling module. Let me put it this way. For example, you are buying an indirect material, means where there is no material master available, but because you are buying some material which is to be accounted somewhere. Where is it needs to be accounted? It needs to be accounted in the cost center and the cost center accounting under. So when you post a goods receipt for a non-stock material or an indirect material, there will be certain accounts which gets updated. That will tell you where is it accounted and a cost center accounting under. So in cost center accounting ainappudu, there are certain general ledger accounts which gets updated. So profit center, or what you call profitability analysis chesinapudu, the GL accounts needs to be looked at. Certain GL accounts will be looked at in the controlling module, and then they analyze it, whether it is a negative entry which got posted or a positive entry which got posted. That is the one that they look at, but there is no direct relation between your material versus the operating concern.
That's right.
It's taking too much time. Only 49%. Or maybe I should have given only 1 or 2 fields. I would have said I have selected some 7-8 fields, so that's the reason it's taking too much time. Profitability analysis based on a certain field. Okay, so that field you have to choose it in the value section. So when you are going into data structure, you have got 2 tabs, right? Objects and the value fields. So in the object field, I would have chosen only 1 field so that the generation of the operating concern would have been faster. Because I have selected some 7-8 fields, it's taking too much time. My God, it's only 57%. Any other questions from anybody so far? all the things that I have done so far, these are nothing to do with MM module. Everything is from FICO module. Okay, this will be taken care by your FI colleague in the project, because now we don't have any FICO specialist. So what I am trying to do is, whenever you do goods receipts or invoice verifications, etc., the impact will be in FICO module. If you want to have that visibility, you have to create this organization structure from the FI perspective also. So that's the reason we are creating this one. But in real time, your FI colleague will take care of this. %. Okay. All right. So this is created successfully. Then you save it. So you see here, it's still not active here. Once again, KEA0. Let me check it here. Yours is 777. Okay, so this is still not active. I'll just go with change. Okay, now you go change here. Attributes. Okay, I should have chosen these attributes. I forget to choose attributes here while maintaining data structures. You see here, while maintaining data structures, I should have selected these ones. I have forgotten to add these things, so that's the reason the top node got not activated. Fiscal year variant K4. Okay. Company code, currency, operating currency, profit center valuation. So you check all these things. Okay. Now you see client specific part, this one. Now you go with active. Save changes first. It will take 2 more minutes. I'm sorry, I would have given the attributes also in the beginning. Okay, we will complete the FSCO part today with the assignment also, and then we will touch upon logistics part tomorrow and complete the entire organization structure by tomorrow itself. Okay, now you could see here your operating concern is active state. So it means it is successfully activated. Now I have created control area, I have created operating concern. Cost centers, I said I will add it later point of time when I am in the purchasing module where I will be using cost centers. So now you see under definition section, I have completed financial accounting and controlling. I said I will do rest of the activities, logistics, sales and distribution, material management tomorrow. So whatever I have defined today, let me go and make them assigned to the individual objects. So under assignment, you see I have done with definition part right now, correct? So now I am going with assignment. You can see it here, same sequence of nodes will be there. Financial accounting, controlling, logistics, general, sales and distribution, material management, so on and so forth. Now, FI accounting, the first one, assignment of company and company code. Okay, how you see here, assignment of company, this is group company with company code, this needs to be done first. Assignment of company to company code, you just go and hit enter or you click on this one. So like I said, assignment of company with company code will take place via chart of accounts, controlling area, etc. So when you go with position, what's your company code? 777. Now you see, this is your company code, Nissan India Private Limited, which is not assigned to any of the group company. So you go and maintain here. So what's your company code? 777. You see here Nissan Group. Hit enter and save it. Okay, you have to save all your changes under Nissan changes. Done. Now next one, assign company code to credit control area. Now you see, you click on this one. You know you have defined your company code, you have defined your credit control area 777. Okay, because credit control area you would have copied from 1000, that's the reason it's appearing. But when you go with the F4, you can see your credit control area. Credit control area for Nissan. You maintain this relationship. What is this? Company code with credit control area. You can see from here, company code with credit control area. This link I am establishing now. I've just established this link. Next, back, business areas to consolidated business area. Here I have shown only business area, but there is no consolidated business area. But in between company code to business areas, you can have one consolidated business area. I have defined two business areas and I have assigned, I have created one consolidated business area. My business areas are 771 and 772, small car section and SUV. Both needs to be assigned to my consolidated business area. This is Nissan consolidated VA. Just add it over here. Okay, save it, enter. Once again back, then assign company code to financial management area. We have defined financial management area, so therefore you assign that also. Your company code is 777. Financial management area, which is only meant for reporting purpose in FI accounting, nothing relevant for MM, but still I am assigning it here. Save it. And right, so once you are done with it, there is one more thing. I'll assign profit center to company code, because I have not created profit center, because I will not be using profit center in MM module, so I don't require this. Then controlling. Did you remember we have defined a control area, but the control area definition is not complete. Okay, there is a separate transaction for controlling area itself, right? So let me show you that one. There is a transaction code called OKKP. Hit enter. You see there, this is what we call it as maintain control area. So what's your control area? 777. Now you see, this is your control area. If you go with details, you could see, do you see any mandatory field which is missing here? You see here there is something called cost center standard hierarchy, which is a mandatory field. It's not there. So therefore you have to specify some hierarchy name. It could be your name also, you can give. Okay, but I always used to give the standard hierarchy name as STDHIER. So with this, is this complete? No, not yet. Apart from the standard hierarchy, you have to specify there is something called control indicators which needs to be maintained for the control area. But these control indicators can be maintained to control area only when a company code is assigned to control area. Without company code assignment to control area, if you try adding it here, it will give you an error. You see here, no entries found at my selection criteria. If I go with new entries, you see, it's giving me an error saying that no company code assigned to control area 777. So it will not allow me to do so. So therefore what you should do, you come back to this one, assignment of company code to control area. Now you maintain the link between the company code and control area. You know your control area is 777. Select the control area and then you see here assignment of company code to control area. You double click this. Now you see there is no, this control area has not been linked to any company code. There is no company code linked with control area. So therefore you go with new entries. What's your company code? You specify it here. The company code is 77. See, if you have defined your company code properly, only then this 77 will appear. Otherwise it won't. Okay. If you want to have more than one company code for control area, you can specify multiple company codes. But here I am restricting myself to one company code. Now go back to the same OKKP transaction and complete rest of the things. I'll just go out of this one, save it, come out. Now you see, let me just go and maintain OKKP, transaction OKKP once again. So here your control area is this one. Select this one. You ensure that you have assigned your company code. You see here it's been already done. Now you can go with activate components or control indicators. So now it will not stop you because company code assignment has already been taken place. It's okay to go and maintain control areas, control area indicators. So therefore you go with new entries. Now which fiscal year, from which fiscal year this should be active? 2012, hit enter. 2 will be automatically picked up to 999. So these are the active components which you need to make it active. Cost centers, control area needs to be activated for cost centers, otherwise non-stock materials you will not be able to procure it. Similarly, order management, you have to make it active. Similarly, commitment management, you have to make it active, right? Activity based costing also, you make it active. Apart from this, if you want to select sales orders, projects, cost topics, etc., you select them, and all variances and all currencies, you have to select it, because like we said, control area can fit more than one company code and each company will have its own currency. In that case, you have a problem of exchange rate differences. Therefore, you have to select all currencies and all variances. Once you choose this one, you go with save. Save your changes under Nissan transport request. Okay. Back, you could see all these things are activated. Back once again. Save it and back. Okay. So now your control area is also complete. Now you see, assign control area to operating concern. Let me just go with it. What's your control area? 777. You go with it. Here you have to choose an operating concern which is in active state. It could be your operating concern, or it could be anything else also. Now anyhow, we have created our own operating concern which is also got activated. You could see here the green bulb. So therefore you can use that and save it. Okay, so with this I would say the FICO related organizational structure settings are complete. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to create a plant, which we will be doing it tomorrow. Okay, once again we will go back to definition section where we will go here, create our own plant, and then we will go to MM module. We create our purchase organizations and storage locations, etc. We also go to sales and distribution module. We create sales organization, distribution channel division, sales office, sales group, sales area, so on and so forth tomorrow. Okay, any questions so far? We will complete the organization structure tomorrow, and then we will go with master data day after tomorrow. Any questions from anybody, Andy? Lakshmi, Pavitra, or Sridhar, Sudhakar, anybody?
One question from me.
Yes, Sudhakar.
No, what I understand is from this is, being as an MM consultant, functional consultant, let's assume that everything is in place on FICO point of view. Okay?
Yeah.
All your chart of accounts, your GL accounts are all set, professional accounts.
Correct.
Now, from MM point of view, you need to only concern with MM related stuff, isn't it?
Exactly. Logistics general and MM. Only these two nodes.
Fine. Ideally, if we are doing this exercise, if we don't have a FICO in place, then I can copy it from another company code. Only that is related to the FICO.
Correct.
Like what we have done for 777.
Correct. You're right, Sudhakar. But what I have done was, you will see it in the sales and distribution module, because you have copied your 777 from 0001 plant. There is bound to be some inconsistent entries which will get creeped into your 777 company code 777 plant. Those inconsistent entries needs to be deleted. That is this inconsistency will be there in sales and distribution module only, nowhere in the other places.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
Sridhar, any questions from your end?
Nothing else. No question.
Sundarrao garu.
No questions, sir.
Lakshmi and Pavitra?
No questions, sir.
Alright, so if you have no questions, we will stop it here. So I'm stopping.